Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and continue the videos about the Navy and especially the Soviet Navy. I wanted to talk about a gap that we have in the tech tree right now. And well, the question about if we should see stuff that doesn't exist more in the game. Okay, so here's the gap. You can clearly see that the gap is between the Yak-38M and the Yak-141, which, by the way, it is a pretty big gap. You know, you are jumping from a 9.3 vehicle to a 12.0 in a rank 6 directly to a rank 8 vehicle. And you will have that, like, these big gaps in multiple nations, to be honest, if you take a proper look. You know, you have that, for example, in the bomber line for the Americans, for example, between the B-57 in rank 5 and the F-105 in rank 6, or rank 7 rather. You have that, for example, nothing coming after rank 6 in the German tech tree in the bomber line. The bomber lines are like the main ones, but there are some big ones like the Hungarian tech tree that actually you know, helped Italy not have as big as a gap, but still there's some big ones there between the F-84, the Tornado IDS, you have between the IL-28 and the Su-22, and so on and so on. If you look into the tech trees of the game, there are multiple very big gaps like that. But the question is, I think the biggest one is probably the rank 3 to rank 5 in the Japanese between the B7 and the R2, by the way, but still quite a funny gap. But still, I think it's something that it's like, is it worth to actually have stuff that it's not really, it never existed? I was of the opinion that if there was a big gap and if there was something that needs to be like added there because the tech tree doesn't make a lot of sense, or it overall is just a big jump for players to do, even in skill and stuff, they should try to find like stuff to be added there. But the thing is that I don't like paper stuff, right? The F-16AJ, for example, for me was kind of a mistake because shortly afterwards the Japanese actually got an F-15. But the thing is that there isn't anything to be added there, so it kind of makes sense, right? Because I mean, poor Japanese players, right? Because I mean, we should have something there that would bridge the gap between even what they have there in that line right now until they receive, for example, the F2, the Mitsubishi, right? So it's understandable, although I don't like it, you know, and I think the community is pretty divided on this. There's a lot of people that love this type of thing, just like World of Warcraft, I think, or Warplanes, yeah, World of Warplanes, right? Because those types of games, they have a lot of prototypes, they have a lot of paper aircraft, and War Thunder always was a game that kind of stayed away from it, and it was a plus for me on the game, to be honest. You know, I always loved War Thunder because of that, because they try to be realistic about these additions and stuff. But at the same time, there is these big gaps that make you wonder. There is this one in particular that I wanted to talk about, which is between the Yak-38 and the Yak-141, can be filled with an aircraft, which is the MiG-23K, for example. The MiG-23K was basically the proposal. There were multiple ones for the MiG-23, but the K1 was kind of the most advanced one, if you will, in the sense of how far into the project it was. And it was basically meant to be the MiG-23 made for the Russian or the Soviet Navy, right? Making sure that for the new type of carrier there was, they were still deciding what type of carrier they were going to have, you know, with the Kuznetsov and etc. like that. They were basically planning on what they were going to do about these. And the MiG-23 was one of the main fighters back in the day, right? This was even before the introduction of the MiG-29 and Su-27. So of course the MiG-23 was one of the main fighters that they had, right? So of course they would have made a MiG-23 that was going to be naval one, and that in particular case it would be a MiG-23 ML, that would basically be just a MiG-23ML, but with an arrestor hook and you know, a better gear system to actually take the punch of landing in carriers, etc. Right? So yeah, that was pretty much what it is, right? And it would be perfect to be added there. I mean, it would literally be perfect because it would be on the side of the MiG-23ML, MLD, sorry, and basically be in the same BR as the ML that we have in the game already. Have the same missiles, R60Ms, R24s, same Raiders. Everything is already in the game, to be honest, and it would be a gap that it would be, you know, filled very easily with that. But that's the thing. Is it worth it? Is it worth to actually receive something that wasn't really produced by any means, like, at all, you know, not even as a prototype? And, you know, does it, like, take into account what the Soviets need as well? Because if you take the whole picture of the Soviet Navy or the Soviet tech tree, it's not like they need anything there anyway, because they have other tech trees where, you know, you can already grind this gap between the two, and if you want to go to the yak, you go to the yak afterwards. So it's not even a necessary thing, if you ask me, right? But that's the big question. Should we see more of these type of paper-ish aircraft? You know, like I said, the MiG-23K wasn't even produced any like models of it. Even a prototype wasn't built, just like an F-16AJ. But the idea was there. You know, the paper stuff was there, and they were preparing themselves to actually produce the aircraft. But is it enough? I think every single, like, it's problematic to have a one set of rules for this type of thing. In my personal opinion, I think they need to take a look on each of the situations as their own situation. So, for example, in the case of the Japanese, I can understand why they added that aircraft. But the Soviets don't need anything. So maybe for the Soviets you don't need to add something, but for the Japanese you need it at that time, or something along those lines, right? But at the same time, I'm still divided, because it would be cool to see an aircraft such as the MiG-23K there, for example, or any type of these type of aircraft in the air, or any of the gaps that we need filling, right? So it's always a difficult question to answer. Is it worth it? Well, I don't know. At a certain stage, yes. At a certain stage, it doesn't. So I don't know. And you guys can tell me actually what you want to see in the game, and that would bring more awareness to actually what Gaijin should do in the future, because I can not like the idea or love the idea. If the community loves it or hates it, it doesn't matter, right? Or if Gaijin hates it or love it, it doesn't matter, because our individual opinions don't matter too much in the game. What it matters is the whole idea of the community liking something or not, or even what Gaijin wants and will do in the game no matter what, right? So, I don't know. You guys tell me, as I was saying, would you like to see more of these type of aircraft, like the F-16AJ in the game, paperish aircraft? What is the max, what is the minimum of what an aircraft could look like that? Because, for example, the R2 is kind of stretching that a little bit, but it is in the game. And something like the AJ is a little bit more, you know, material on that side of existing or not. The MiG-23K a little bit more as well, together with the AJ, a little bit less maybe than the AJ, but still around that. So there's multiple questions to be answered here. But what do you think? Do you think we need these type of aircraft or not? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, guys, I see you guys probably tomorrow in the next video. Okay? We eventually won that one, by the way.